our president Tokayev had a meeting with the Russian President Putin in Omsk, a city in the Russian Siberia, basically. It's a pretty big city. So Tokayev had the guts to say it out loud that Putin needs to stop the war, basically.
There's the option of putting the whole matter on hold. This is a tried and tested approach in international practice. And all of this must be halted, because what's happening, in my firm opinion, plays into the hands of and delights the opponents of both Russia and the Ukrainian state.
And I found that just a few days past, some analysts literally saying that it was all scripted. It was basically, because our president can't really say what's on his mind without Putin approving that. And I mean, some people even call, like, some opposition leaders, they even call our president like Mr. Furniture, some shit like that, because he doesn't really have his own will. And I honestly kind of doubt that, because I think he does have at least some independence in the game, and he does actually speak his mind. And it's, in that particular case, I don't see how it would have been scripted. Like, why? What's even the point of our president's reprimanding Putin like that? And I mean, so if it was scripted, that basically means Putin has agreed to that. What's the point? You could say, well, Trump doesn't want to speak to Putin anymore, something like that, maybe, but it doesn't make sense, because in the end, after our president said that, basically scolded Putin, you could say, diplomatically, Putin didn't even respond to him. He just said, well, after this meeting, I'll just show you the course, the state of affairs in the Ukrainian on the front lines. I will just show you sort of privately, kind of like that. If Putin wanted this to be said publicly, then he would probably say something back. That would be like a discussion, at least a short one. But then he just said no. He just but he just said nothing really. And then Peskov, his press secretary, after the meeting, like a day passed, he made like a public reply to our president, basically, that no, we're gonna continue with the war. So I mean, saying that, our president is just under absolute control of Putin. No, if he was under absolute control, even Lukashenko, I think, is not. The Belarus president is not under absolute control, because if they were, they would already have been sending troops. They would have been joining the troops with the Russians and fighting in the Ukraine. So, but they are holding it back. They are not agreeing to that. And Lukashenko himself basically said that no, this is not a war. We didn't sign up for it. So our president pretty much said the same thing since the very start of the war. And if Russia invades Kazakhstan, well, they're not going to do it now, right? Because they don't have the resources anymore. And I doubted that they want to be bombed from the Kazakh side as well, because there's going to be like millions of drones as well, It's not going to be that easy, and the war in the Ukraine kind of demonstrated that already. So they don't want that too. And that's kind of gives more cards to our president. Now he can say stuff that's actually on his mind. He doesn't have to be afraid of Moscow and just looking at Moscow and sort of negotiating everything that he wants to say, Plus, there's China. The Chinese leader came to Kazakhstan once. He basically said that we guarantee your territorial integrity, which, yeah, kind of, if China guarantees that, and they openly said that, I mean, Turkish president also said that once, that they also guarantee, kind of like, but it was informal, of course, but he still said that we do guarantee Kazakhstan its sovereignty, sort of. So we have like two like huge superpowers, basically, that are standing up for us. China, because it wants its transportation hubs here, and they don't want to be dependent on Russia for their land transportation ways, basically. And Turkey, of course, because I mean they consider like Kazakhstan as their historical motherland, and we are building our own like block here, okay, like a Turkic block. So yeah, it makes even more sense for the Turkish president to say that. So in the light of this, I don't think that our president would be just totally dependent on Moscow. Like, no, he's not. He still has a lot of ties, but he's not dependent. And I mean, some opposition leaders, of course, they will keep saying that because they want to show that the president is just completely out of it, that he's like he's just under the Russian control. That's why we need like to get him out and all that shit. I mean, it's in the opposition leaders' interest to be like criticizing our president like that, and basically. I would say misrepresenting him, because you can criticize the president, but I think he's doing it pretty good actually, and our country is not getting involved into anything. And if our president decides that actually he falls under Putin, under Kremlin, and just, for example, Putin asks us to join forces. Our president knows that there's going to be a fucking revolution. The Kazakhs are not going to agree to that. And there's huge risks to his power. So he's not going to just do that. And he also uses that as an excuse in front of Putin that, I can't do that because our people, they're gonna flood the streets and they're gonna take me out, basically, out of the throne, So he uses it to his own good, actually, to his own benefit. That's also useful for us, the people here, Nobody wants to go and fight for Russia.